Russ and Amy?
Can you get up where you can hear me without my having to shout totally?
Let's wait till this
Come
car
closer.
goes by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife suggested that I welcome everybody, but I'm not sure what exactly I'm welcoming you all to. What is the...
Well, let's let Sigrun start, and I told her there's a few folks here who could offer some local knowledge, but let's let her start.
Sure. So, my name is Sigrun. Think big smile, big grin, and it just starts with an S instead of a B. Easy way to remember my name. Steve asked me to volunteer to be a leader today, whatever leader means in this case. Some cases I know some good stuff to tell you, in other cases these locals will. So we'll start with them telling us about the making of this boardwalk. Over to you.
Okay, I can tell you, I'm Amy Picorni Lauterbach. Russ and I, my husband here, who is the supervisor of the town, saw an opportunity, and also our Conservation Advisory Council members, Dave Nelson and Eric Marzak, who's our chairman, saw an opportunity to get a grant from the Albany County Soil and Water Conservation District. So the grant was to help control erosion and to protect wetlands. So this was a really good place to do that. We have a slope across the road here that was badly eroded, just a few hundred yards up the road. Oh. And everything was washing down into the part of the wetland that's over here.
No, I won't back up into you.
Yeah, don't back up any further. So we got the grant, and $37,000 of it went, or no, $34,000 went toward repairing the erosion scar on Street Road to prevent more dirt and soil and everything going into the wetland. And then
how did you repair it?
Okay, we didn't have the expertise or the equipment to do that work, so we asked Susan Lewis what to do. And she said, call the Albany County Highway Department people, Department of Public Works people, and they did. They came and did all the work for us, and we just paid them from the grant. And then we had about $6,000 left to do this work. So Eric was our mastermind, and Nelson Kent, who's an engineer, and we all kind of participated in designing it and building it, and here it is.
So it was quite a team effort. Actually, the first thing, I guess, that happened, besides figuring out where the trail would go exactly, was they sort of had to scrape out the path, and then we laid this black, what's the
landscape
filter fabric?
Yeah, the filter, okay, and then I had to distribute the stones over the whole thing, which of course required, quite a few piles of stones, and our local, or our park guy, Ray, park manager I think we call him, took the tractor out here and did a really nice job of distributing the stones. Then we had this big pile of these 2 by 12 by 12s or something. Is that what they are? Out here by the road, right? And we had to haul them all the way back there to start, and up here, and of course we had to lay the 6 by 6s, and you can kind of see it from there. But it was a lot of hauling. And what did we do? Like about 2 or 3 lengths each day we met, and we met about 2 or 3 times a week for months. It took that long.
There was about 4 or 5 of us.
Yeah, yeah. So we had these slings that we put under the boards, so you'd have a person on each side holding on, and somebody in front, person on each side, and you could carry one board at a time.
Ooh,
these puppies are heavy, and they were wet at the time.
5.5 tons.
Oh, is that what it was?
I calculated one board is between 75 to 100 pounds.
Jeez.
That on that, it comes to about 5.5 tons.
And clumsy too, because you're carrying them all, over sort of rough terrain. But
And is it locally sourced hemlock? Is that?
did it come from
Yes, Middleburg.
Oh, Middleburg.
Comes from Middleburg.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
area.
Yeah, and of course the 6 by 6s are treated, right?
Yeah.
So
treated so they won't rot in the water.
Yeah, right. And then we had to figure out what we were going to do on the edges. And this seemed like the best idea.
Yeah,
like
that's a good
with,
idea.
With a wheelchair. And then you also notice there are spacers in there. So like that little, because that way the water will drain off between and to the sides.
And then the gaps are so we can sweep leaves off if they gather up on the surface.
And believe it or not, you can get a lot of water down here. But, and I was all concerned about the whole thing floating away and ending up in Altamont or something, but it hasn't happened, so I think we're good.
And if I could just back up a little bit, as you walk out, you'll notice that it changes from this wooden platform or walkway to a recycled plastic material. And that was built in the early 1990s with a grant from the Iroquois pipeline mitigation when the Iroquois pipeline came through. And that was begun in about 1992. So you'll see out at the distal end here, there's a nice platform. And at that time, who remembers 1992, right? The recycled plastic material was fairly new in use. And it brings some great qualities and some not so great qualities, and I think you'll see when you're out there today some of the results of that. It didn't maybe last as long as we hoped, but it uses up old plastic bottles and so forth and doesn't require new trees to be cut down and so forth.
You know, I was talking to Eric about this recently, I think it was you, Eric, and we were talking about the expansion and contraction of those plastics.
Even with a few hours, there's spots that we spliced together, and I came maybe a week and a half later, and the splices had at least a 4-inch gap in them.
So,
And the stuff is expanding, contracting. Even during the day, you come in the morning, the gaps are closed, you come in the afternoon, and the stuff's, that's first generation. So I'm not really sure. I mean, we recycled a lot of it too as well. When we took some of the stuff down, we did recycle it, and came in handy because it's still weatherproof. But there are some spots there that are a little sloppy, so just watch yourself. There's not much we can do with that, and who knows if it needs replacing. Maybe we'll make that one out of wood eventually.
well, so many times I looked at it and I thought, oh, we just need a screw here or a screw there, but then 2 hours later it would pop the whole thing out probably. So.
And we were here yesterday, and we had to batten some of the cup boards and everything. It's going to need a little maintenance from now and then.
Well, that was another thing hauling these boards is we tried to put them the right side up, you know, so they'd be cupped down, I guess, right? Only sometimes you had a damaged area or something. And it was fun, really.
And knowing that you guys were coming today, as soon as we heard that, we ordered good weather, and we told the town to make the road like a pool table. And if you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you.
We're building a bridge,
What time are the
actually.
birds scheduled to show? We have to release them up the road a little bit first.
Well, since I'm not sure what we'll see as we go on, there's a couple plants I want to mention right here. Most of you are standing where you can see the one with the white flowers on top.
This one.
And if you look carefully, this one right here, if you look carefully at the leaves down the stem, the leaves are continuous across the stem.
Oh.
So it's just one leaf the whole way across. And so it tells you its name. Its name is boneset. And in the Middle Ages, people believed that God had put signs on plants for what they're good for. And so this one was put good for setting bones, which is how it got its name, boneset. And so that's an easy one to remember because it tells you when you look at it.
My
Well, that's
phone says the yellow one is nodding beggar ticks, so I don't know where we are with trusting our phones or not, but that's what the phone says.
It looks like it would be a bigger
Bigger
tick.
tick is that. Isn't it?
I'm sorry?
Bigger?
Oh yeah, that's a different beggar tick. There's several bunches of them.
Oh, okay.
That's good to know.
Can you say that word again?
Nodding, like nodding off to sleep. Beggar ticks.
See, the
And
flowers
beggar
are
ticks-
tipped over sideways. They're not up vertical.
Beggar ticks have seeds that stick into your clothing.
Yes.
Yes.
In large numbers at times.
And if you have a dog, you curse them. So watch out to keep your dog with it. As on the board as possible, just to keep them out of the tick seeds.
mentioned actual ticks.
That's
Oh, that's not what
later
I
in the
wanted.
season, I think, Amy.
And behind Eric, I can see sort of at an angle behind him, there is wool grass. There's one tall piece of grass. Eric, if you turn around and take your left arm and point that way, there it is. There we go, that one. That's wool grass, one of my favorite grasses, because it looks like fireworks going off.
Yeah,
I've got a big batch of it in my own garden, and he keeps spreading it, spreading it.
it's pretty,
And wool grass, because that top stuff looks very woolly. All right, let's go.
I get the same thing for that. So
Is this property located on a plateau?
Knox is kind of a plateau.
So the whole town
In
of
a
Knox
sense.
is a plateau.
It is kind of. In fact, somebody talked about building the Albany International Airport up here one time
Oh,
because it's kind of like on top of the hill and it's
Right,
all
right.
relatively flat. I'm so glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so remember Irene, of course, right?
Yes.
So on Irene Day, I was still in the fire department. The great thing about Knox is the water lands here and it flows down
Right.
off the hill.
Off the
So
hill.
we couldn't go anywhere, but we were okay up here.
I know Palinville got hit real hard.
Yeah. Well, they're one of those downslope
Down
places
slope.
with
Yeah,
the-
that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always wonder how come a place up in the mountains could ever get flooded. Well, it did.
Yeah, that is. Well, the let's see. American Indians, no, original settlers, the original owners of the property, said if you want to find water, go to the top of the hill. You know.
That's an interesting aphorism.
It is. Yeah, that's pretty good. Might be.
Good. Yeah.
actually, I should be ahead and back. Take another picture.
I was slowing down because it's right here close to the boardwalk.
Goes from one side
That
to the
is
other of the plant.
Joe Pyeweed.
It doesn't like start.
Strange.
Yeah, I know. Well, and who would notice that?
Somebody came along.
Somebody. Well,
Somebody.
somebody noticed it. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
They're telling us for
You know, the water's low here.
What kind of birdhouse is that one?
That's a duck house.
Duck house?
Yeah.
Or wood duck?
Yeah.
Wood duck, yeah. So there was one here that was collapsing and Eric or somebody fixed it like that. You saw yours, right?
I saw 4 of them so far, or 6.
Anyway, somebody was good at using this.
Well, what bird is that one?
And he became very popular.
I don't know. It looks like a.
Looks like a hawk to me.
That's not a.
blooming in the woods behind my house on the moor.
Which kind of bird are we
Very
looking at?
obvious, it's such a pretty blue, beautiful blue. Yes.
Looks like a hawk, doesn't it? Big. Wouldn't you love to be able to do that?
Sure. Like if you get reincarnated, be like a duck, so you could swim, walk, and fly.
Okay, I'd like that.
Yeah.
But I think being a hawk would be fun too.
Yes, yes.
Except you have to eat mice.
Right. Now over here in the 3 towns, Burn, Knox, Westerlo,
Yeah.
this also was one of the places where you had the rent wars that was happening around here,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sure is.
Because I saw some like those educational markers, and it said that this area was involved in that.
So our bicentennial celebration was in 22.
Mm-hmm.
So our town was founded in 1822.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we put on a Rent Wars play.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, well, I was part of it, but a small part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody wrote the thing, and it was really interesting.
They did a play, I think it's an annual basis, right across the border from when you go from Greene into Delaware County, or Ulster into Delaware County, Ames.
Oh,
Ames, New York.
Oh.
Every year they do a rent war reenactment.
Oh, really?
Both of the events before what happened, during and after.
Yeah.
Very fascinating.
It's an amazing story.
And very few people know about it. Nobody teaches about it. Nobody knows about it.
Heroic and amazing, and I know.
Like even where I used to live before down in Columbia, Dutchess County line, there was also a rebellion on the rent wars because the Livingstons owned that property down there.
Oh, okay.
This is some kind of a goldenrod. I think it's flat top, but I wouldn't swear to it.
One of the hundreds of kinds.
Yes, right.
Touch me not.
There's this one. It's very invasive. Very invasive.
It's easy to pull.
Not when it's
Definitely fall, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Starting to be, yeah.
Everything is.
Do all of you know about the jewelweed seeds? When they're ripe, you touch them and they pop away. And if you can catch them, put them in your mouth. They taste like walnuts.
Really?
Really, huh?
Walnuts.
Mm.
in moderation.
In
Be
moderation.
careful about these wild things.
Just a couple in
You
your
don't
mouth
want
to
to eat
taste.
a lot of them. And the chipmunks like them.
There are a few plants that are toys, and this is one of the toy plants in my mind.
Yeah, those are neat.
It's a mosquito bite. The jewelry, yeah. It really does wear out. See,
Oh, yeah, that one was.
but also getting rid of poison ivy. Dawn uses that when she comes back from mushroom picking. She'll grab some of it from the yard and just put it
You
in.
mean the leaves?
These are, the stem is very succulent, so then you squeeze them and the liquid comes right out. So the liquid's used for that.
Oh, that's good to know.
Do you, does the town still have that meeting house from the rent wars? Because there was a meeting house here with some of those, I don't know which town burned Knox Wetlands, or maybe even in area down Porter Hollow, Preston Hollow, that area too.
That kind of rings a bell, but I don't know that it's up here. Too bad we don't have our historian along. Well, Ralph would know that.
Theoretically.
Ask Ralph here. He
What's
knows
the question?
things.
Question is, the rent wars
Yep.
that was happening here,
Yep.
is there still that meeting house where they originally met
Yeah.
to plan?
That was the Lutheran Church.
Or Lutheran
in
Church,
Bern.
where is that? In Bern?
Yeah, brick,
And what, where is it located? What road, town road?
right
or-
on Main Street in Bern, right next to the school.
Yeah,
okay.
like a couple hundred yards down from the school.
Oh, all
Or the
right.
church. There's probably a
It's good to
sign
know.
out there.
Yeah, there certainly must be.
Yeah. I didn't realize that either.
Yeah.
At this corner, two things. I have a hard time remembering names of grasses. But what I do is I give them my own names, so when I see it again, I know that I've seen it before. And this one right here in the corner, this tiny, tiny thing, that's dancing fairy grass in my head. Because when the wind blows, it looks like a lot of fairies dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And just beyond here, you can see some of the cattails with the fuzz starting to come out.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What happens with the cattails is that some insect, probably a moth, lays its eggs in the cattail fruit when it's young, and the eggs stay there protected all through the summer. And then when the caterpillars come out and start eating, they eat their way up the inside of the cattail cigar, and the stuff, the seed pods float out because they've been detached from their source. So that's why you see it only partly, right in front of me, you see it only partly out. Caterpillar only got that far, so far.
So do we end up with butterflies then?
Not if a moth laid the eggs. I don't know, frankly. I should have looked it up before I came.
That would be a happy ending to the story.
You end up with an adult insect of some sort.
Excuse me, which plant? I have a question.
Yeah.
What plant were you pointing to when did you say blackberry?
Oh, something fairy.
Something berry?
Fairy.
Your name
Fairy,
for it.
fairy.
I said this grass is
Oh, the
dancing
grass, okay.
fairy,
Dancing
F-A-I-R-Y,
fairy.
dancing
Okay.
fairy grass.
Good, thank
It's
you.
just a silly name, but sometimes being playful in nature is a good thing to do.
This is the fun thing about getting older.
All right, here we go up the hill.
F-A-T-R-I-E, like
Notice
fairy
how our
queen.
habitat is changing as we go.
Seagrin, the plant with the doll's eye berries.
I'm not sure about which one you're asking about.
Pollination
White with the black center.
would be
Probably, there's a dogwood that's got white berries. But I haven't seen the plant.
That's not the one I'm thinking of, though.
I was
You're
wondering
thinking
if
of
this was
Baneberry?
Baneberry. That's what I'm thinking of. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
Okay, we're now,
Yeah.
that's not what we're looking at.
Oh, look.
Skull cap. That's what my phone says. Oh, okay.
it's a very delicate little thing, isn't it?
Well, some of the others weren't, but
Really, really
the one I leaned
small.
over and
Really small flower
killed.
though.
I think it's some kind of a lobelia
Yeah, that's
in the
what.
family. It looks to me like it is. These berries that are so fragile are so translucent. Some kind of a climbing vine. I don't know what they are either.
I hope something eats them. They smell like birds.
Odds have it.
Probably birds.
Yeah, I hope so.
Something eats everything.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
That's the way nature goes. I gotta get up this hill so it doesn't go backwards. There's a lot of these berries. They're one of the things that tickles the brain. Nothing ever made.
Just the sound on this thing. That's the thing.
And this boardwalk is wonderful. This will be a place where you can get people to gather around. On the new walk, there was no way to gather around you.
On Monday.
You can see how the shifting goes. That didn't look like that a couple days ago.
Wow, really?
Literally a couple of days ago.
Living, breathing organism.
What's pressing on me is if I look to the
Yeah,
right,
yeah, it
whatever
goes,
side I
it
look at,
changes.
that arm starts going numb. So
We don't want
Smartweed.
No, this is the
Just as I touched it, the word it came to my mind only too late,
time before the-
and I got triggered.
whenever that stuff happened.
There is some
Well, the plan, I think.
Yeah, the
was
hairy
given
thing, what is
by
that?
Bayer by the time of
clematis.
40. So then you
Oh,
also things like arthritis and.
On our right, we have clematis, the hairy looking thing. Some kind of, I think it's a wild. I read that everything here is native. That is, if this is clematis here,
I read that
it's a native one.
Yes. There's no invasive species
We're
here.
talking about
So it won't be
operations for
knapweed,
hip
whatever it is.
replacements like me and things with your neck and
If people could gather around up here,
live so long, it wouldn't happen.
and what is the spiky thing with the purple tips? Is that just the same as the knapweed but not open? You see the lily type leaf going out and right below it. There's thick seeds sticking out. There's a lily like frond, and then right below it. Yes. Willow fir, okay.
The long, skinny seed pods of the willow herb and other plants like that have a wonderful name. Those seed pods, I just love the sound of the word. They're sweet. S-I-L-I-Q-U-E.
You see, yeah, it's right in the middle there with nobody else. In the center.
I'm still not sure I see what you're talking about. The one that's bouncing back and forth here?
No. No, they're not. Leaves aren't purple.
Well, we're thinking
The
of
leaves
smart,
are-
kind of
are
smart
long
weed. There are
points.
different kinds.
Everything that I said was fine.
So if you eat them,
No, it has nothing to do with intelligence.
Is there any place for a,
The juice kind of stings. That kind of smart.
What kind of berries are out here? Those non-edible ones, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a nice sample of a, what do they call it, cotton.
But that might be nice. Now,
Milkweed?
Yeah.
That's a milkweed. This is what is.
That's the one.
do they use it?
no, I've never seen anything, and the maple tree died, and I had to take it down.
Oftentimes squirrels. Okay, but you can't. Sorry, you can't determine what's going to use it.
No, boy, I love my
Willow.
houses.
I've already forgotten. Willow.
And getting some of my older bluebird houses.
Yep.
Pile them right up full.
Oh, they're so funny. I dry my clothes outside on the lawn.
Yep, me too.
And the clothespin bag, they're constantly putting, the little twigs into the clothespin bag, and then I take them out, and I throw it up, and I take them out. If I leave it alone, they'll try and nest it off, but I'm drying laundry enough that they never get ahead, you know. But yeah, it would be nice somewhere where you could see it.
I get mad at the people in Florida. We have a, it's in a trailer park. Location. Motorhome trailer that was 60 years old. And they won't let me,
Yeah, look how the branches are
Mm-hmm.
tearing.
dry my clothes.
Nice little walkway. Remember I told you yesterday or the day before the email you sent me about this place, and it said that it's handicap accessible. Oh yeah, yeah. There you go. This is really nice. So this is a plateau. Yeah, I remember. I think I know where that house is in relationship to a road somewhere there.
To what road?
To a road.
Oh, a
I
road.
don't know,
Okay,
but to
okay.
a road there.
Yeah.
I think, might be wrong. And I remember we used to call this is the hilltop area, Knox Wetlands.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, this is all like you climb up from Helderberg, you climb up here, you get all this, and then you go down to Rensselaerville. And Rensselaerville, if you know Andy Rooney, he had a house in Rensselaerville.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Along highways and roads and like it's a very invasive, very successful invasive plant, and it's from Europe and it doesn't have a lot of natural enemies in North America. So if you go downstream from the Knox Wetland to where Altamont Road, where it crosses under there, and you look downstream, there's a patch of purple loosestrife that's just really taken off. The reason I saved this one the other day is this is what you'd like to do. If you get rid of loosestrife, it's nice if you can pull it and get the root mass. They don't all come out like this. A lot of times they'll break here and then it'll grow again next year from the same root mass. But I just saved this one for sort of show and tell purposes. Even my own mother, rest her soul, one time said to me, "What's that beautiful flower along the thruway?" So people like how it looks. Now I was in Europe recently. Sigrun, you were in Europe recently. It exists over there, but not in these huge monoclonal patches. It's a.
I read that there's something like 40 different insects that will eat it over there. And they're working on finding some in this country that they can use that won't also be invasive. The insect won't become invasive.
That don't also eat corn or something.
Yeah.
Or anything else that people like to have. Yeah, there's big batches of it out in there.
Yeah, there's.
Have to
There's
wade
a
out.
marsh
Beautiful.
hawk just over the tops of the trees over that way. I think fighting the wind. He's got the white rump cap.
I see it.
Going away. Sorry to interrupt.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Not something you see every day.
Interrupt anytime you see something interesting. I didn't see it yet.
Yes.
Didn't see it. It's right down on the horizon, so
If you have
it's very
questions,
difficult.
interrupt.
And this
If you have
again,
something to tell
I
us,
couldn't hear
interrupt.
when I was over
Purple
there.
loosestrife. You'll see right behind your, right along the trail is an example of it right.
Oh, okay.
And it's a sort of nastive invasive plant that if you let it grow, it will take over a wet area completely to the exclusion of other species. And Amy pointed out that the horizontal nature of the root mass makes it very hard to pull out successfully. I did notice when I was down in there getting good and dirty, beavers were cutting it off when it got, say, this big around. So they're helping us a little bit.
It's that big around.
It does.
Wow.
And its name, loosestrife, there's two different things which have loosestrife as common names. This is one. The other is,
Is that motherwort?
I can't remember it. But the other one, there's two different things that are, but the common name, loosestrife, comes between, in colonial times and things like that, they would take big bunches of it and tie it to the middle of an ox yoke, so that as the oxen were pulling, all the flies and stuff would be driven away by all this stuff flittering around, activity, and therefore the flies weren't biting there, and so the oxen would pull together rather than striving against one another.
Oh. I don't know, Ray, if that's the same plant. Or not.
No, Eric just
Oh, okay.
filled me in.
Yep.
It's something very similar. It has a square stem, purple flower, but it's called motherwort.
Anyone's welcome to take a look at this. And right next to the path here, there's a big plant of it that's several years old. You'll see the first year plants that flower, or maybe they're 2 years old, I don't know, just have one single flower, but if you let it go, it gets very large. So we're doing what we can to try and knock it back here.
You go in with later?
Yeah. And boots and it's quite exciting to see me get down in there. It's a little easy for me to get down.
Okay.
Beautiful patch of the smartweed.
Mm.
Look at them.
And that's a different kind too.
Yeah, it seems to be.
And
Oh, it must be.
the one that was called, I thought it was the lady's thumb that I saw, but it doesn't have that dark patch that looked like
Well,
a
I've had-
lady's thumbprint, so it must have been a different kind.
No, I've had lady's thumb in my garden a lot.
They don't have the dark patch, but that's how you could identify it. So.
It's just after
But I
you've
know
had them.
it's a smart weed.
Yeah.
I have a story for right here.
Yeah, and there's the other type.
Folks, Sigrun has something
Yeah.
she wants to say.
You're gonna go to the Y? Turn off left at Charlton Road.
Oh, well, the
Yeah.
people who are listening, you
Yeah.
can hear my story. In the spring, just beyond the pink flowers, that was open water. So there's land here on the right, land on the left, and open water there. And we saw 4 little baby birds swimming. They apparently the parent was over here. They jumped in the water and they swam right across this open water here. And it turned out they were rails, R-A-I-L.
Mm.
So I want to know, what do you call a baby rail? Is it a railing? Maybe a rail chick, but if you call it a rail chick, is it okay to use the word chick for a bird that isn't a chicken? I don't know, but they were charming little baby baby rails. We'll call them railings. That might be, yeah.
Where they say.
Squeeze through all the
Swim almost
vegetation
anything.
and
Yeah.
stand like that with their heads up so you can't see them.
Since we're stopped here, along the railing of the boardwalk, right in front of me, right by your finger here, there is a lichen. There's a lot of it all along here.
Mhm.
That's probably the easiest one to talk about because it's quite a circle. And it's this gray-green perfect circle. Yeah, here they're not all circles because they get bumped by people's hands and stuff. But when you see one like that, its common name amongst botanists is 40-mile-an-hour lichen, because on trees and things it's so obvious. This green, light green target on all the tree trunks everywhere you look. You would drive by a car at 40 miles an hour and you say, "There's Parmelia. There's my 40-mile-an-hour lichen." All right, onward.
Get a picture for you.
Native Americans using cattail probably.
The turns are helpful because you can get more people as they go on past it.
Oh yeah, for the picture.
For the picture,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
don't see people better.
But who knows with this, the break sun.
Yeah. Well.
I'm always so blinded by the beauty of the flower. I never
I know.
look at the leaves. So when they see it without the flower, I misidentify it all the time.
Yeah, and when I pull them, oftentimes there's young plants that aren't yet flowering right next to it, and I say, well, I should get that too. Like, we have it in the ditch next to our mailbox. Not much of it, because we've been attacking it. But
So where's this place with recycled plastic.
This is it here.
This
All
is
the
it?
stuff that we're walking on, and yep.
That's recycled plastic?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right.
Yep. Yes. It's very pretty. There's some on the next to the walkway, not too far back. And there's large snails that are in this murky, muddy water. And well, we don't really know what they are. I haven't asked anybody. They're a little hard to see, but they're out there. They're round. I think this is one here. It almost looks like a seed pod of a locust. It looks like a little tennis ball, kind of, but it's brownish. They're very
Those
large.
little red specks, the long red things.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I suppose it could be leaves that fall off.
Yes, they're leaflets from that plant, whatever that is. Yeah, you're right. Oh, there's a raven calling behind us. The white flower.
Let's see what she thinks.
It looks like a lump of mud, but it's not.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's a snail. Wow.
There's times when you can see them better than right now. There's one right down there.
Lying on the bottom.
On
not-
bottom, yeah, and you see the impression that I left.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a snail.
That's what I think.
I know, and it's that large. We wondered, should we have an escargot feed?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You know, over at Cooperstown, they actually do serve escargot.
There's one further out that looks more like a snail. If you go out 7 feet or 8 feet from that one.
And it's more wedge shaped.
It's more circular conch sort of shape.
Well, I think that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like a bouche de Noël, a piece of a cake like that. Its end is pointing towards us.
Yeah, I think.
You see it?
I think that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Does anybody identify him or? I think we just got those two choices, the brown mystery snail or the Chinese mystery.
It's about halfway across. Out there.
Anybody
If you think of the conch shell.
good at that?
Well, probably, yeah.
Huh.
Is it a snail like a conch, or is it a?
No, it's a snail.
It's
The
like-
snail's a
Snake-like.
mollusk.
It's like a super large
It's a big
land snail. Someday when I'm feeling industrious, I'll grab one and bring it to some friends.
Yeah.
When I researched it a little bit, it said that the indigenous brown mystery snail, and they are called mystery snails, because evidently they show up fairly full grown, and they don't really can't identify juveniles, so they just all of a sudden appear, and they're called mystery. So there's a Chinese mystery snail that's invasive, but there is an indigenous brown mystery snail. So I'd like to know. Of course, they're covered with a lot of algae and stuff, so you can't really see it. The Chinese one, when I saw the pictures, it kind of has a band around it, very visible band, and the brown, the indigenous brown one is more an olive, a nice even homogeneous olive color. So with all the growth on it, you can't really tell. Maybe we'll get down there and grab one. But they are capable of spreading trematodes and other parasites. That could be harmful too as well. They're not really. They're still the jury's out there on that yet, but it seems like they can do some damage. At least the Chinese ones.
Oh, the Chinese.
Yeah. I don't know
So they
about
wouldn't be edible?
the browns. You know, probably with cooking, it probably could be. I don't know. It's
Because there are a lot of them. That was
yeah.
there's a beast out
I just started my research on them because I didn't know anything about snails, but there's plenty of info out there on them. But maybe we can get somebody from NCON to give them a positive ID.
4 kinds of turtle heads. 4 kinds. The white ones and something. They were Chelone.
But the beavers are patching it up here and there, and that's good. Yeah, the level went down really fast.
So you're not trying to destroy the dams. You're trying to keep them.
Oh yeah, well, you know, we're just going to let them go on their own. That's what they're going to do, and they cycle out because when they run out of all these small shrubs and everything to eat, they move on. They let it grow back, and then they'll come back. I understand it's something like somebody said the periodicity is about 7 to 8 years. They'll get into a spot and then out, and after it silts up and everything. So we don't really know. It emptied out really fast, and we've had a lot of rain, and it's really not filling back up. So we're going to bring the drone out. Nelson's got a drone. We're going to go along. There's 4 major dams here, so we're going to check those out, see if any of them have been breached.
I know, like a friend of mine, he actually does trapping, and like a farms, especially he does that around there because sometimes beavers built dams right where everything drains out.
Yeah.
And so he said, no, they cannot have that. Have to trap that. Have him move them out. He doesn't kill them, but he has to like trap them and
you have to
move
have
them
somebody
far
that's
away.
licensed to do that too.
And
as
he
well.
is licensed to do that.
Yeah, we had a problem back up here in the park. There's a small streamlet that comes through, and it was backing up, and they were just building on that side, and they gave up on it. And but yeah, you know, it's a dynamic system, and you know, but little spots like this, they started patching up here. So
let me ask you about that park where all the cars are parked there. On the other side, on the left side of it, it has like a little path there that has a blacktop on it. What was that before? Was that like a golf course, or was that something else?
It should have been the park. Matter of fact, Ray's here. He's our park. Hold on. Hey, Ray. Got a question.
Yes, it is.
Where the path is on the other side of the park that's asphalted, and your question is,
What is that? Was
was
that a golf course at one time? Because
Thank you.
because across the street is that little gate thing that has a horse head on top of it.
Yeah.
So it almost looks like a private like little club or whatever.
Well, no, that actually is a walking path.
That's a walking
for the
path?
residents in the town.
part of
Oh,
our-
I
that's
didn't
town
know that.
property.
We own that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's all part of this. And stat up there is the pavilion and the baseball diamond.
Oh, this is all part of the town?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a real treasure here, you know.
Yeah,
It
Mhm.
really is.
It is.
So altogether, it's like 52 acres.
Oh, that's a nice piece.
Yeah.
That's a nice piece of
Yeah.
property.
It's in 3 parcels, and then we also have some land where the solar array is too, but that's just a small parcel. I can't remember if that's about, what, 16
Yeah.
acres?
Then I want to start interested in there's a 37 acres over here that's adjoining it that's abandoned.
Yep.
And somebody in Schenectady owns it or something. Or
Yeah, she passed away, I guess.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Because if we get a chance to buy it, we got some help from the politicians that came here, and they said, I got his card. I forget his name. He said if you're looking into getting that land, he says call us. We got money.
No, it wasn't Chris Tague, was it? I'm real good friends with Chris Tague.
No, it was I think it was one of his people. He gave me the card. He worked for the county. Tim. I forget their names. But anyway, he said we got money. It's the same thing when we got the grant here. I went down to Soil and Water Conservation and says, we've got money, nobody's asking for it. So I told Amy that, got right on it, and got her 40 grand, you know.
Yeah,
So
Russ just got me a grant to fix all the bridges. So if you keep walking all those walking paths, there's bridges because there's little inlets that come into this.
Oh, really? Now, across the street where you have that little gate thing with the horse head
That's
on top
not
of it.
ours,
Okay, that's private. But what is that? Is that like a farm of some type? Is that a reserve, game reserve? Because I know
it's
that
back in the
I know
woods,
that
this
there are game reserves up here. I know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar. I've seen them. I've never really introduced myself to them. But yeah, he keeps that locked up, and I'm not quite sure if he's there all year. Why the gate and the horse, I'm not quite sure.
And there's a big pond up there too.
Yeah,
I was
that
Googling
might
it.
be-
And,
yeah, that might be Fortunes. That might be.
Oh yeah.
I just had to look something.
Because
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
can we listen for a few minutes out here in this nice wide space? Almost.
Attention, please.
Attention, please. Just a few things to tell you in here where it's easier to get people close to me rather than strung out along the boardwalk. For one thing, my favorite part of a Mary Oliver poem, it goes as follows. Instructions for leading a life. Pay attention. Be astonished. Tell about it.
Huh.
So here we are, paying attention to all these things in the water and wishing we'd see more birds, but if you hear any, please point them out. But there's lots here to astonish us. And then we talk to each other about it. So that's why I keep remembering those few words as instructions for leading a good life, especially if you're a naturalist of some sort. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and here you locals can adjust and change what I say because I'm only telling you what you wrote on the website. But this is what's called a karst, K-A-R-S-T landscape. It may be familiar to most of you. Karst is a limestone landscape where the water erodes the limestone away. And when you think of those wonderful Chinese pictures of these spiky peaks, spiky peaks, and little tiny pavilions around on them, those are all karst landscapes that have been really eroded. Here it's not so much because of this being hilltop and flat, but apparently with a karst landscape and the fact that the water can eat away at the limestone, partly any acids in the water from even acid rain, I suppose, but they eat away at the limestone. There are places that are called sinks where the water goes down in, and there are channels where the water is running along all underneath all of this, coming in from the sides and so forth. And there are springs where it springs up again. So those are the three, and they have wonderful geologist names, but I don't remember them. If you want to look on the web. Anyway, it's interesting to think about. The water is coming from where? It's coming from up there, it's coming from there, coming from all the higher land around us, landing here and moving through these underground channels and sometimes sinking in and sometimes springing up. Underneath the whole thing is a flat layer of limestone, which is pretty much impermeable. So once the water gets there, unlike soils like you find in the Midwest, where it just can keep on going because there's no bedrock down there, here it gets down to bedrock. And so the water in this wetland is essentially floating. It's sitting on top of the rock. So now, those of you who are local, add to what I said, change it, make other comments about that because I want to be sure I got it right.
well, one of the jobs of our Conservation Advisory Council is to identify these sinkholes. And there is LiDAR information that costs money, so we've got to be part of the plan and find those sinkholes and identify them as environmental sensitive areas. And they'll be protected somewhat, I think 100 feet around the sinkhole or so like that. So there wouldn't be any agriculture, pesticides and whatnot, you know, so that's part of our water protection plan, and we've got to work up all the fine points and everything, but hopefully we'll be able to do something with that and keep, there has historically in the past been farm animals dumped into some of these, and people have witnessed that, you know, and so that kind of thing's going to have to stop, and you know.
Dead ones just to get rid of them, like,
Yeah.
or they fall in.
No, dead ones, yeah.
Dead ones they just want to get rid of it. So they put them in a hole and
Are there any caves located around here?
Yeah.
You do have caves
Oh,
around
yeah.
here.
We have lots of
I know there are a
sinkholes.
few spelunkers that actually come up here and do spelunking on these small, really small little caves.
Oh, they're aware of the ones though.
Yeah.
They don't. Matter of fact, they won't even tell us where
Yeah,
some of them are.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's just
yeah.
as well. It protects
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
And particularly if there are bats in them.
Yeah,
If there are bats in them, you don't want people wandering in and out and
yeah, yeah.
spreading whatever invasive illnesses that bats are prone to.
So Eric, do we have a map of these sinkholes?
Oh yeah, there is a car. It's not. We have a karst map, and we have a copy that we got from Albany Soil and Water Conservation, so we know exactly the karstic areas, and the sinkholes. It looks like there's the LIDAR information. Albany County did a LIDAR study. You know, they have but to get access to it, we have to you have to pay. And I think it's something like $67 a month to access those files and everything. And the more I look into the maps, I realize we have to spend some money to do it. You know, we really do. And as a matter of fact, just yesterday I was researching it out. A company that has a perfect overlay. It's used, you know, if you want to look at. Matter of fact, the agriculture one I just put out, I think we're going to use that. It's got slope data. It's got the soil types, and it also identifies the prime agricultural soil. And I sent an email to Amy. My 5 acres, I have about a half acre of prime that was on the map. My driveway's on it. And, you know, so when the house was put in, I don't know, 130 years ago, nobody knew that, you know. But that might be what the problem that we have up here. Some of that prime, it may already be developed, you know, and there's no access to it. But certainly protect whatever's left, by all means. You know, I mean, you think about, you know, our culture's been here a couple hundred years and we messed it up pretty bad. And is that sustainable? You know, can we do another 200 years here without, you know, dumps and plastic and whatnot, you know? I don't see it happening, you know? I don't see it happening unless we change our ways.
Could we put steel grates over some of these sinkholes, or is that?
That would help, but then again, you got the steel would corrode, and you get iron in the water eventually, you know, and the poison's in the dose, isn't it? You know, so.
So the sinkhole map is all of the Knox area, not just this one.
Albany County, it would be all of Albany County, yeah, and.
And the reason for doing it is to protect them.
Yeah.
Since that's where the water is recharging.
Yeah. And the one other threat here, if development does come in pretty heavy, the one technique, and it's already been used up here in 2015, it was classified as a seeker process, is the hydrofracking, in which, you know, you've got a house that's going to have 6 bathrooms in it. You need more water, so you go down, you dynamite the area, open up the seams, and you got all your water. But there's a couple cases up here where one of the houses I know, a fellow that lives nearby said, I never had sulfur or iron in my water until they blasted. So, you know, and you can see the blast as well, because on the U.S. geological maps, there's actually a seismic map, and you can see all the spots up here, and they have the time, the date, what the amplitude was. Usually 1.8 to 2.3s are pretty common around here. So there's a list of them on the website if you go to, so that's kind of an interesting point. I don't know how many of those are actual, you know, some of them could be the blasting. I don't think it's happened that much, but I think there should be a ban on it. So the only way you can get a ban is to appeal to the health department, actually. The commissioner of health is the one that could put a ban on it.
So
Would it be go ahead. Well, would it be a local ban?
Yeah, the town could do it if we wanted to, yeah. Okay. If we had support enough to do it. And like I say, if you read in the seeker process, they are required to take your water samples before the blast. Anybody within a mile of the blast zone has to be notified that it's going to happen. Then they take all the water samples, they test them, they do the blast, and they come back and they test the water samples afterwards to look for nitrates and things from the explosion. And I've only heard of one case up here, you know, through the grapevine, so to speak. Ray might know more. But yeah, so those are the kind of things I think that would, if it was banned up here, I think that would allow the land to be available to future generations a little longer than not, you know.
So the reason people are doing this blasting is because once the rock has been broken open, the water channels flow toward the blasted place.
Yeah. Yep.
And then they can pump it out.
So they could rob somebody else's water.
Yeah.
Actually, you know.
Yeah, they put a house in above my house, and they drilled the well, and the well went dry about 15 years ago, and then they just redid it again. And we have never had sulfur. We have iron. I mean, pretty much everybody's well around has a lot of iron.
Yeah.
But we immediately got sulfur, and it took about, it seems to be, my wife thinks it's been about 3 years. It's slowly dissipating now.
Interesting.
Yeah. They also did some dye tests, you know, like from some of these sinkholes
Yeah.
and caves and stuff. And I mean, Eric's got a great point, because from Clarksville's to Cobuskill, they've recorded this dye. So if the water is running that far, that's probably close to 18 miles maybe. That's affecting a lot of people's water and wells, you know.
Schoharie County's all cursed.
Yeah, it's going right into Schoharie County. You know, so, yeah. It's a big underground cave where I mean, there's a lot of
cavelets.
Yeah, sometimes I walk around on my property and I wonder if a house is just gonna cave in someday.
Keep your flashlight handy.
Yeah, it's
Sigrid,
pretty hollow.
What was your Mary Oliver saying again?
Instructions for leading a life. Pay attention. Be astonished.
I picked up the changes in color between the greens that were in the leaf, and it was green all summer, and now turning to the reds and the yellows. So if you take the time to look at an individual leaf, sometimes you can be astonished.
Astonished. And you don't always have to be astonished.
Interesting.
That's a big word. But be amazed, impressed, moved, spiritually touched. You know, there's lots of words you could put in that space. But anyway, did everybody see the turtle head down here on the corner? Did you get into the corner? Oh, yeah. On the shop corner, yeah.
There's another spot on the way back I can point out where there's turtlehead right next to the trail as well.
The Latin name for genus name for turtlehead is turtle.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. I know French is a Latin. All right. Does anybody have anything more to say or ask about out here? Head back.
So I've seen a house finch, a female. There was a singular cedar waxwing on the top of one of these dead pines. There's also, we can hear crows, ravens. There's been some turkey vultures flying around. Blue jays, we're hearing them as well. Goldfinches, but not too much else. One thing I wanted to point out, there was a song sparrow over here on the left as we were coming out, and he sang a song sparrow song, but the testosterone levels in male birds this time of year are way down. So it's a lot of fun to hear them trying to sing their spring song, and you can tell what it is, but it's just off.
Oh my God.
Not unique to song sparrows. There's a lot of different.
There must be a moral there somewhere.
Oh, I'd also mention that the water level is low here right now.
Oh, there it is. Blue jay, huh?
Yep. They do
A number of things.
Yes, exactly.
And they also imitate. But
Yes, they do a little bit, yeah.
Are they in the same family as crows and
Yes.
ravens, right?
Yeah.
oh, they are.
Corvids, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I call them the tattletales.
Yes, yes. Yeah, if you're like hunting in the woods and yeah, blue jay spot you, forget about
you
it.
might
Just
as well pack it up.
pack it up and go home.
We don't know where our cats are. Yeah. He's coming from that direction. Birds are yelling at him.
Tattletales, yeah, they are. They let everybody know.
One day our cat we didn't know he was walking down the path next to Tim's, and we just keep seeing this sharp shin buzzing, diving down, and all of a sudden he came around like this, and
he jumped at it. He tried to get it. He must have got that far off the ground. I said, no, you don't want to do that. But yeah, I was amazed that that bird was really after that cat. It was serious.
What type of bird was that?
It was a sharpshin or a falcon.
Falcon.
Falcon, right?
Okay, yeah, you know.
A falcon?
The small falcon.
Yeah, small falcon.
Dave? Sharpshin, that's a falcon, right?
No, it's a bird hawk.
It is a bird hawk.
Yeah.
Okay. Stand corrected.
Oh, those
Is that in the
bird
same
hawks,
family
they
as
can
the
be
harriers
fun.
too?
Yeah.
Or is
What's that?
The
We
harriers?
used to have
or
bird
the-
hawks.
Harriers
at our
are in their
place.
own
Yeah.
little group.
Out in the country, yeah.
Falcons are peregrine falcons, merlins, kestrels,
Yeah.
gyr falcons. We have a lot of kestrels in town.
Yes,
along
oh,
the
yeah.
sparrowhawks along the telephone lines.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a couple of them on the way here today.
My brother was with his friend, and they were on like our property, and then there's a neighbor property overlapping. And anyway, so they saw
And she
bird
said
hawk.
there were 4 mature bald eagles on the same
Two of
tree
them
down
tried to
there.
BB
nice.
gun it.
Yeah.
You know.
And I see, did you have your phone with you? She says, no.
Something
I said,
happened.
that would have
You can see them nowadays along the thruway,
He got
along
in
the
trouble.
Mohawk.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
keep your eyes open.
We had one go over our pond. We had a couple times we had them go over our pond.
Yeah,
right up here.
yeah.
My son and his wife tell me a story. They were hiking in northern Michigan. And there was a tall pine tree. My daughter-in-law is a really good naturalist. She said, oh, look, there's a bald eagle up there. And sure enough, there was a bald eagle. And they look at the nest, and they could see some nestlings sticking their heads up. And so they watched as another eagle came in with a fish for these nestlings. And they got it there, and just as they gave it to the nestlings, the babies dropped it, and it went down between all the trees down to the ground. And the parent eagle really scolded those birds for dropping it. Another story was we arrived in Maine, opened the car, and our friend's cat, we discovered, had treed a chipmunk. The chipmunks can only climb so high, and then they just can't get any further up. And so it was stuck up there with its cat in this piece. And as we watched, the chipmunk jumped off the tree, landed smack on the back of the cat, and went that way. And the cat said, what was that all about?
Turning the tables.
Well, it's getting on toward noon. Should we head on out?
Yep.
Is it already?
Bandages. I don't take doves and pigeons because I don't have they have a different formula, they have a different method of feeding and a different schedule. We have 10 or 15 baby birds, I want to be able to. I'm getting too old.
This is so nice out here.
Mm-hmm. Nice and breezy.
Yeah.
But like during the winter, ooh.
Oh, no.
Because like, see, there's no mountains around here. Nothing. So all the winds, all the northern winds come right through. You got nothing to hold anything back here.
Yeah.
So that path that I told you about, that I mentioned, like on the other side of the parking lot we were on, that actually is owned by the town. That's a town park.
Oh.
Where there's that asphalt path where I thought it was like a golf course at one time.
Yeah, well,
This would be a willow, presumably. But that other stuff had fatter leaves. And I tried to get a picture of it for identification, but there were so many other things around that they
Thank you for being my
planned
audience.
that to identify it
I love
instead.
having
Mm-hmm.
all around the Capitol Region. Thursdays up outside north
Those
of
are gnarly,
Saratoga.
aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to.
Cattails,
Go there.
Yeah.
cattails.
When we get back to the car, let's quick ride. Let's get your
Those berries
email
are so
reminder
bright, especially
Yeah.
in the light.
phone, and then I can tell you
Keep
when
thinking,
we're doing
what a beautiful flower. Then I realize, no, it's just more of the berries.
Yeah.
But,
Where were we that we had, we were out towards Fultonville, he and I? Had some really good berries. Where were the berries? Okay, there were grapes.
No, that was in Five Rivers
Five Rivers, yeah.
and at Thatcher Park.
Yeah.
It had a lot of grapevines, the
Yeah,
wild
place,
grapes.
Every place has them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
we're stopped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
There's more turtlehead on the right. Just keep your eyes open. It's right
Yeah, I
close
saw it as we were coming, but I don't remember quite where.
What's next week, Steve?
Daniels Road.
Oh, that's the one I'm gonna be going to. Heading up with the 450 bus,
Oh, okay.
and then I'll bring my bike with me. And after the tour, I'll go
Oh, that's
there. Where do you see it? Must be blind.
straight down from my finger.
Oh, okay.
The white there?
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll be back riding again in like a week?
I am hope so. I wish I didn't have to. Like I feel like I could pedal my bike, but I can't because my knee won't bend.
It's such a pretty little flower. Big flower, yeah. Turtlehead. Oh, there's more. Yeah. Four down there.
That's Briar. This is Briar.
Briar?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Is that Briar ice cream?
That's EY.
Like the thorny thing.
I know there's Briar ice cream. That's all I care about, ice cream.
I got her from a Schützen person,
Ah.
and she wanted her with a B name, and I tried to think of something that was not too Marshall, you know.
Right, right.
but not too. I couldn't think of
Is she
funny
full or
anything.
is she spayed?
Right, no, she's not spayed.
Oh, she's not? She's full.
Has everyone done this with their thumbs when they were kids and turned this into insulation? It's just amazing how much fluff there is
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
from what looks like sort of like a hot dog to start
Do
with.
people use that, if
They
I'm not
certainly
mistaken,
did.
for starting fires too?
Probably a good idea. I mean,
They
You
used
can-
to stuff life jackets. with
Yes,
it.
yes. It almost looks like stuffing out of a life jacket.
kind of
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder
Uh-huh.
how if it compresses, if you could put it in pillows or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah,
Someone
can
was
imagine-
saying they used it in diapers.
right. I can imagine it was quite the thing for indigenous people because, I mean, it comes in a convenient package and
Uh-huh.
I know you can eat the roots and the,
tubers, yeah.
but I've never done it. I don't know what it
Me
tastes
either.
like.
Well, it's a starch. Yeah, I don't know. Look at the seeds go.
Mhm.
Does the loosestrife crowd that out?
Yes, loosestrife will pretty much crowd out anything except maybe Phragmites. It could be a good war between the two.
Is Phragmites the dark-headed grass?
Yeah, the one that grows maybe 9 feet. 10
Yeah,
feet
and it's
tall.
got dark.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Phragmites, I believe, is from Southeast Asia. Yeah. That's what happens when they don't have their
my mother had a hip fracture.
Mhm.
She's in her 80s, and she had it at a, you know, sort of like assisted living.
Mhm.
And they didn't. I mean, I wish I'd been there. I still can picture how it must have been.
Mhm.
There's a flock of probably, let's see, cedar waxwings. Of course, they're going away, so it's hard to tell, but. Huh. And I hear goldfinches around it.
Absolutely horrible with bird songs. I'm gonna walk back that way. I forgot to ask you something.
I hear them, but I don't see them. There they are. Going right over us, goldfinches.
Goldfinches?
Yeah.
Well, you got good eyes.
Huh. Well, I'm going by.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Now
Yeah.
I see it. Now I see it.
I'm going by hearing. What do we got way up
That's
there?
different. That's.
That is, I think it's a red-tailed hawk. Let's
Oh,
see.
okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a red-tail.
Yeah, could
Good
be.
sized bootio.
Yeah.
He's so dark. So dark. They usually have a little bit of white underneath, but he's
Mhm.
pretty dark. Now he's heading south.
Yeah. Are there some birds of prey that do migrate?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Most of the hawks do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You'll see if you watch next March along the road
Mm-hmm.
before leaf out, you'll see red-tailed hawks on many, many, many trees, and they're coming back north.
Mm-hmm.
Right around the middle of March, you start
Oh,
to notice
okay.
seeing so many of them
Mhm.
on fence posts and dead branches and so forth. But he's not hunting up there, he's migrating. He's, a couple thousand feet up in the air. I hear a raven. There's the raven and maybe a turkey vulture. Two turkey vultures.
Oh yeah, look at him. Wow, 1, 2, 3. That's a turkey vulture.
And there's a bootio mixed
Yeah.
in too. That's a red tail there. That's
Wow.
a red tail. So
Yeah.
this guy is darker. I'm not sure if he was maybe a rough leg or something, but he was a little different. But that's clearly a red tail, this one. Here's a viceroy. Looks like a monarch, but it's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Same color pattern as a monarch,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not poisonous like monarchs are to birds. But
Mhm.
they look like monarchs, so
Mhm.
Birds will think they
That's
are.
Right. I thought that birds had a stomach made out of steel. They could eat anything.
in some cases they probably can. There's an eagle. There's a bald eagle up there.
Oh, yeah.
high.
Wow, that's really high. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my. So amazing the way that they
His-
fly. His
tight in, but his head is clearly visible as white.
Mm.
Yeah, he's up there too. He's quite high. Here comes somebody over here. That looks more like an accipiter maybe, bird hawk. It's a good day to migrate. There's a strong, strong wind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's another Boodio, so it could be like a broadwing because he's pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. He's a red tail. He's
A
just
red tail
further
too?
away.
Yeah.
He looks small, but he's not.
Wow.
He's got a good belly band. Anybody want to have a look? That's a view, but he's awfully far away.
Mm. Man, you got good eyes.
Yeah.
You got good eyes if you could see some of these things.
And here's a raven.
Yeah,
close.
that I can see.
Yeah.
So how can you tell a difference like in when you
shape of
sky
the
between a
tail.
raven and a crow?
The shape of the tail is a little different.
Mhm.
There's a little more to a raven's tail, and
Mhm.
it's rounded.
I know it's also bigger, right?
Yes.
Raven is bigger than a
But
crow.
if they're by themselves, it's a little hard to make that distinction. But the
There's
call
something
is
like shaggy
distinctly
feathers.
Now
on
what
the-
about, I know like
throat, or
crows
front.
gather in murders, right? Do ravens gather in murders too?
Yes, they do. Yep, they'll be a small group. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But the ravens just sound so cool, so interesting.
They have a deeper voice too
Yes, uh-huh.
than a crow does. No, I think that's an airplane. Has a metallic look to it. But yeah, that's a raven,
Gas
huh?
hawk.
Wow. Interesting.
You guys are familiar with the movie, right?
Oh, yes.
They have the seed pods that explode in your hand when they're dried out,
Mm-hmm.
which is lots of fun.
Might be a hawk reason. I think it's one of those falls. I don't think it's hawk.
Well, thanks for pointing him out. Otherwise, I would say, nope, I wouldn't point it out.
Eric, who's here with us today, is a woodworker, and he made that
Mm-hmm.
trail register. It's a beautiful little box there.
Oh yeah, he even mortise and tenon it. Yeah. Mortise and tenon. That's really nice.
Yeah, before the sun and the shade were in a way that
Yeah.
someday we'll do a challenge.
Okay.
We'll see.
I guess this piece of foam was put here so that people don't hit their head.
Yeah.
Somebody who's height challenged will be hitting that thing.
Yeah.
We didn't have quite enough room when we
Yeah.
We actually did lower this part of the path goes downhill for that
Mhm.
reason.
Oh,
'Cause when
okay.
we first laid it out, it was just barely over my head.
So the kiosk was here before the path was
So
put
yeah,
in.
the kiosk was from the original construction in the early 1990s. And the kiosk has a story too that I can't tell, but it's from somebody's farm.
Mm-hmm.
And the posts are, I think maybe locust or something that doesn't rot.
Right, right. Locust is a
And,
rare tree that you could actually put in the ground and will not rot
Right.
on you.
And so we retained the kiosk, but the interpretive material on it, somewhere I have a picture, you couldn't even read it anymore.
Right, 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 right.
So we re-roofed it, but we retained it for the most part. It was also tilting quite badly, so we straightened it up.
Mm-hmm. Looks nice.
But yeah, it came out pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And we designed the interpretive material, and we decided on this side just to have it be more of a sign,
Yeah,
so people
yeah.
going by can
Nice,
see
so
it.
you can see. Well, it's very hard to see it off the road even because it's pointing that way.
Yeah.
And let's say if cars go that way, then they're not going to see it. Cars going that way are also going to miss it because you got all these trees right here.
Look
Like,
backwards, yeah.
like you really have to really have your eye out for it, or
Yeah.
know its latitude or longitude or something like that.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually put in for a street address for here, which we have now.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't have it before.
So that's a turkey vulture,
Yeah.
obviously.
Does
Yes.
anybody want to have a look?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I think they're pretty well.
You want to be its next meal?
No, it only eats
Carcasses.
dead carcasses.
Yeah.
Well, leave the rest
So-
to your imagination.
So if you want to be a dead carcass, he's more. So
I don't.
we could do that for him.
Well, thanks for coming today.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank
Thank you
you.
very much for helping us find out things about this.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Slowly head up the hill. Nice little path here.
Yeah, we could come up and walk.
Mhm.
Oh, doo-doo.
Now, let's investigate this doo-doo. This is not a dog doo-doo.
It was your suggestion.
No,
Okay.
I did not say that this is dog doo-doo. I say doo-doo. You could tell it has a lot of seeds in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bear.
Honestly?
That's Mr. Bear. Seriously. All right, take a picture of it. Take a picture. Hey, woman, take a picture. Take a picture and get up real close and make sure you capture that seed stuff.
Okay.
I'm claiming bear because it has a lot of the seed things, you know, and bears, you know.
Why that color?
I don't know. Maybe he ate a lot of berries, red seeds, berries, and things like that.
Yeah.
There you go. Up close and personal to the doo-doo of a bear.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Never noticed it. So how do we know Steve didn't fall into a marsh or something?
Maybe he did. He went into the marsh or a cave or
Yeah.
or a sinkhole.
And we're stuck up here.
Okay. You know how to hot wire a car? So let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
sure.
Let's go.